What's up, everybody? This is KJ, and this is Christian Conservative, your trusted source for bold, unfiltered news and analysis on the issues that matter most to Christian conservatives. So, from faith and family to politics and culture, we tackle the hard truths and stand firm on biblical principles. All right, Michelle is out tonight. This is actually an unexpected show for you guys tonight. Just finished up with Pop and Politics, and one of the viewers mentioned this interview with Brian Harpole. He is the security agent for Charlie Kirk. He was there on that devastating, tragic day of Charlie Kirk's assassination. He was actually the first person to connect with Charlie Kirk after his murder. And he has done an interview with Shawn Ryan on the Shawn Ryan podcast. And I started watching it and I said, oh my gosh, I have to watch this and react with you all. And so I know it's late. Again, just finishing on Pop and Politics. And I had no idea that this interview occurred. And so again, all we've been hearing all day is Candace Owens. She had this breaking news, no breaking news. But this here is a breaking news interview. He goes through step by step of what happened that day. Oh my gosh, folks, this is such a heart-wrenching interview. And so I want to watch it with you all, and just not the whole thing, but just the some of the most extraordinary moments of the interview. And then we may touch on this again on Thursday. So I'm just going to bring it right to you guys again here on Christian Conservative. We are expose the lies, defend our values, and fight for truth in a world that desperately needs it, folks. And this is what it's all about. You know, we've been covering this Candace Owens and her take on this this awful assassination of our brother in Christ, Charlie Kirk. She's full out blaming TPUSA. She's implying that they are somehow involved. So let's hear it from his chief his chief security head of security who was there, and see what he has to say. And folks, it sounds to me he's pushing back against a lot of these lies that we've heard from the likes of Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, and the many of them. So let's get right into it. All right. So bear with me because I'm running this whole thing tonight on my own. But again, I had to bring this to you all tonight. So here we are. So let's see here. Let's start off with him talking about what happened right after the shooting. Okay. Wow. This is tough to watch. It really is. All right, let's see here.
I've got my back to Charlie about, I don't know, less than 10 meters off to his right. And my area of responsibility, just we had a lot of people coming up some staircases there, and it was starting to fill in. And so I was watching that, and I remember I heard the gunfire, and then I don't know if you've heard this, but I heard that bullet slap him. And so, so you hear two sounds actually.
My Lord.
And so you hear the actual shot, and then you hear the bullet hit him in the neck, like you hear it. And so in my head, I had an attribution to that. Oop, I know what that is. And so I turned, and when I turned, started running, that's when Dan grabbed him. And I mean, this is a live fire event. It's not, everybody thinks in hindsight, well, this is a one-shot assassination. No, in our heads, there's
you
fire.
don't know what that is.
There's fire. There's more to come. right?
And this is the part, I'm just want to stop it very quickly. And folks, as you come in, hit that like button. This helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience. This is what makes the implications and the lies and the lack of evidence and the lack of support from Candace Owens that makes this so evil, that she's blaming these people that were closest to Charlie Kirk. That, can you imagine being someplace and you lose a loved one and you were there, and to have someone with millions of huge platform blame you and your organization, the people you were there, they blame you for this, and you're grieving, and then you may be looking at yourself and wondering, could I've done this differently? Could I've done this? And to have someone like this constantly blaming you, I just, there's no words. We have a super chatter here. All right, let's see here. Veronica Hammock with the $5 super chat says, thank you for speaking the truth and protecting the legacy of Charlie Kirk. I look forward to finishing this tomorrow. Thank you again. Thank you, Veronica. And yes, it's about his legacy, because they are tearing it down. Nobody's talking about that. No one is talking about the idea that what this woman is doing, she is enriching herself and tearing down this man's legacy. All right, let's keep going. Veronica says, haha, I forgot my screen name was Veronica Banana Hammock. Such a serious message with that name. No, it's fine. Thank you so much, Veronica. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right, let's see here.
So Dan grabs Charlie, and then
who's Dan?
Dan was the guy standing right next to Charlie when he got shot on the stage, and then I was to the right of Dan.
Okay.
And so he grabs him, and then I turn and see him start to the ground, but then I'm just thinking gunfire. And then he's leading to the ground because I'm on his right, where he was shot right here in the left of his neck. And so I jumped down on top of Charlie to cover him, because where we're at, it's concealment at best. It's a tabling with cloth on it, so it's not hard cover. Our guys are starting piling back in, and they're down, putting a human shield around him, but it's still just concealment. It's not cover. And so I initially dove down on top of him and just was on him almost face to face. And then when I was doing that, I went down, I could see the wound. And so I immediately shoved my hand into the wound to stop the bleeding, just trying to find the pressure. And it was coming out still. And I'm on top of him, like close. And it was still coming out enough that it squirted through my fingers, and I could taste it on my lips. And so I was,
my God, my Lord. Can you imagine? Do you all hear this man? What he had to go through? This is not just an employer. This was his friend.
like, man, this is a bad wound, right? And so I was just pushing that, and I don't know at that time. I know when you look at the clock, I was on him within 5 seconds and had my hands in him. And then I don't know when I put the first piece of medical on him. It was sometime after that, because I carry it right here. And that's why you carry it on you. You got to have it there. So, but then I remember pulling back away and thinking, damn, this is bad. Like it's coming out. And I don't remember saying this, but the guys told me, and you can kind of see it on the video. I said, prep the car. And I just prepped, and you see the two guys just take off. And that car's prepped in position, but what I mean, doors are open, yeah. I mean, the whole deal. And then so we're doing pressure control there, and it's a carotid artery, so you can't put a tourniquet on it, obviously. And in my head, I'm like, pack pressure, pray, man. These are what you can do for that wound. But then, so I'm on top, and then I told the guys, we got to exfil. We're all out here in the open. We're trying to give wound care, and we got to get off this X, right? And so but I just said, we're exfilling. And so we got up, I think it was like 15, 16 seconds from the time the shot happened to the time we were picking him up and headed.
15 to 16 seconds.
That's what it was. Yeah. And so
that's fast.
Yeah. And this is horrible, but
that is fast to get an initial assessment, plug a hole, pick them up, move them.
Yeah. And so it's just like, dang. And it's some horrible realities of it too, that like I told the guys this and I haven't.
Oh.
When I jumped down on him, he had doll's eyes. And so I was like, man, these are wounds incompatible with life.
You knew.
Yeah.
You want to take a break?
Wow. Folks, again, this is Brian Harpole. He was the chief of security for Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. So the records are showing that he worked for him, I believe, for 7 years. Let's dig into this a little bit more. This is heartbreaking. All right, let's dig into this a little bit more. Again, folks, as you come in, this is Christian Conservative, your trusted voice for bold, unfiltered news and analysis on the issues that matter most to Christian conservatives. We are reacting to the interview that just dropped between Shawn Ryan and Charlie Kirk's head of security, Brian Harpole. He is the man that was there when Charlie Kirk was shot. So let's get into who he is. And I want you guys to sound off. Let me know what you all think on this stuff. Is he believable to you? You know, we have seen over the last several months, one of the main so-called investigators of all this, Candace Owens, is implying that TPUSA had something to do with Charlie Kirk's death. She is implying that the person who the police have in custody is not the person who killed Charlie Kirk, or she's all over the place. She's saying that, or that he had assistance. She has implied this assistance has come from the likes of Israel, some of all types of outside sources. The motive, she has not mentioned why she's saying this. Now we have his head of security going through what exactly happened that day. All right, we have a new member, Veronica. Thank you so much for joining our Truth Seekers Club, Truth Defenders. Thank you so much. It's a great way to support the channel. We do members only information, members only feeds, and all types of perks. So thank you so much. We're going to get into this a little bit more because I want to bring you guys some of the biggest parts of this interview, and we watch it together. I want to get you all to respond to this. Let me know what you think. You know, is there some sense, do you believe that there's some truth into what Candace Owens has been pushing? Do you believe she needs to be quiet on this and let the authorities who have more information? We've seen this. We've talked about this on the show. She's coming up flat-footed on multiple areas. But they have the inside information. Let them do their job, and for her to leave this family, his friends alone. What are your thoughts? Let's get into this interview. Here's a little bit more.
Welcome to the show.
Pleasure, Shawn. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you for coming, man. So, very heavy interview today.
Yes.
And so you
Folks, you guys just coming in, again, please hit that like button. We are generally on every Thursday and Sunday night at 9 p.m. Just finished with Poppin' Politics. Somebody told me this interview had just recently dropped, and I had to watch it. And so I said, let's watch it together. And we're gonna, maybe not the whole interview, but just pick out the most, intriguing parts, and watch some of it together. All right. So I see you guys in the chat: Momo, Amber, Jennifer, Allie. I see all of you guys. Thank you so much. I know it's late. I'm not going to keep you too long, but I just wanted to watch this. I haven't watched it yet, guys. So we watched it together.
We're in charge of the security detail in the company when Charlie Kirk was assassinated exactly 2 months and 1 day ago.
Yes, sir.
And, I've been really quiet about this matter because so many people are out there on it, and it's a real shame, but it just got to be so much that I just did not trust my own eyes, ears, what I was reading, what I was watching. And I think a lot of people have sensationalized this. And and that is a real fucking shame. And it makes it impossible to find the truth.
Right.
It is. And it's not a word, but you said sensationalized, but it's like advantageized, right? Just to take advantage of it. It's almost like sickening.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been. And really, that's kind of what drove me to come here.
Well, Brian, I know you and your team are taking a lot of flack, and and I commend you for the courage to come out and talk today on the show, and I just want you to know, I'm not a combative interviewer. I do have some tough questions that will be at the end, the questions that I've seen all throughout the internet, questions that people have, questions that I have. Some of them may seem a little absurd, but I think it's important to, just address all the major ones, at least all the ones that are on my radar. And so I just, once again, want to thank you for coming.
Nothing's out of bounds except for something that may be covered in the NDA that I did for a specific incident for them. And so if that's true, I would just say that, but literally, that's the big thing, is that I'm sitting here, but the team is here. And that's the big deal. And they're representing them.
I want to, and I also just want to say, one, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, and
Absolutely.
God bless his family. And number two, I've lost friends, and I'm familiar with those type of scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that I'm really sorry for what you and your guys are going through with losing your friend.
Thank you.
And also with everything that's coming along with that. So,
Yes, sir.
but everybody starts off with an introduction here. Brian Harpole, a highly decorated law enforcement veteran who served as a police officer in Texas for 14 years.
Okay.
In 2008, you entered the private security world as operations manager for an elite Texas-based security firm, where you specialized in executive and personal protection. Now you are a global private security contractor and trainer, running your own company, Integrity Security Solutions, across 5 continents. A graduate of Columbia College, you earned a Master Peace Officer license from the state of Texas, along with graduating from the International Law Enforcement School of Police Supervision in Southern Methodist University's Cape Intelligence Program. Most importantly, you are on the stage with Charlie Kirk as the head of his contracted security detail on September 10th, when he was assassinated. Last question before we take a break. I just want to ask, were you understaffed or was anybody...
I can't do that. I don't have the authority to do that, or the budget. And then so table the drones, which we've been...
When you're screening your employees or the guys, I have to ask this question. I have to ask it.
Of course.
Okay.
Do any of your guys have any ties to any foreign
Oh, here we
intelligence
go.
agencies, more specifically Mossad?
No. And I've seen that and heard that. And, I've been in 39 countries in this world, and I've never been to Israel.
What?
I'm a firm Christian. I ask our guys, are you believers? We have no ties to Israel or Mossad or any other one. We're Americans, period.
Now you heard that. You heard that. Straight up. He said they have no ties to Israel. He has no one working with him that are in Mossad with any connections to Israel. That's a bombshell right there. Let's continue.
We believe in what we're afforded to do here. We believe in our system, and to say that we're Mossad or attached to any type of foreign entity, it's one of those. It's crap on its best day.
Do you have anybody on your team that you think could be tied to an extreme political party who is planning assassinations?
No. One, we're in each other's business. Where they have the time for it, I wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, you had mentioned some of these guys are on the road 250 days a year.
Yeah,
with Charlie.
Yeah, just working, and it's not just that. It's, a lot of, we do a team trip every year down to an undisclosed location, and some of the guys are there now. Some of the guys left yesterday after that job ended. I'll be going down the night before. Tomorrow. So we know what each other does. We know their kids' names and their spouses, and it's like, if they're doing it and they're not, they wouldn't have time for us not to notice. And then the heart of these men that they're going to pour this out. It's like, yeah, you took an oath. I've taken an oath. Most of my guys have taken an oath, and it's different in the security industry. You're not taking an oath for your client, but you are taking an oath to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wouldn't do that to the client, but they really wouldn't do it to me or to their coworker.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of those things. It's like, no, if you know us, those allegations become even more idiotic.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. This man, we haven't heard anything from Erica Kirk say anything about him, from Turk, all the people that we know that were close to Charlie Kirk right up to his assassination. No one has said that this man was corrupt, that there were any, anything shady going on. Nothing. Only one spouting this stuff is Candace Owens. And she drip a little bit every day, or every show. It's like it's some type of beauty pageant, and we're waiting for the big reveal. It is sickening. It is really sickening. She is weaponizing tragedy for the attention and influence. Period. Let's keep going.
And you say this with 100% certainty?
To my death.
Wow.
Roger that.
To my death.
Let's move into the threat assessment and the pre-planning.
Do we believe him? I want you guys to sound off, because let me tell you this. It's not even for him to prove this. It's for Candace Owens and these detractors to prove what they're saying. It's not for him to prove a negative. It's for them to prove it, folks. Let's keep going.
For the event.
Absolutely.
How many days prior were you guys there?
We generally, the permitting process and all that goes on behind the scenes. And then there's questionnaires that are filled out that we used to. There was a lot of busy work. And then so kind of like in the military, what you did, we create forms that, hey, let's get this information up front.
Mhm.
And so that we have a duplication process so that we can confirm it. And so we started our first, before that one, the 24th of the month prior. And so, and that was with the hard conversations, meetings.
You started that on the 24th?
Right. And we
That's
do
2 weeks.
at
early.
least. No, well, it started before that with the intelligence gathering and all that. But the hard conversations, the sharing of information, the conference calls, the data sheets, and we put that in a timeline on an app, so that this all goes up, and every guy that's on that job can see all the intel that comes in. It's a decentralized command model for the company. And so anybody can make command decisions for the betterment of the client or the team. And so everything goes on that app. And so when I get it, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
And when whoever's gathering that intel, it gets it. There's no hold, there's no power hold on it. And so that first information came in on the 24th, and then the information share starts, where we're walking through, everything that you need for a detail, the site plan, point of contacts, emergency fallback locations, hard rooms, arrival points, hospital, you name it, fire department, jurisdictional authorities, all that comes in on an intel sheet and gathered. And then it's in that quick reference app. So any guy can get it at any time they want to. And then we can share it out anytime. We can add people into it, take people out of it. And so we found also that we utilize that format, and it shows that it can timestamp our due diligence also. And so that's why we use that, as opposed to just
Opposite political affiliations. I mean, if he was that concerned, I don't know why that wouldn't have been disseminated down to the security detail. I mean, I have a security detail, and if I feel that there is a threat, even if it's just a feeling, that's the first people that I tell is my security detail.
We looked at, we look at all that, and you can go back and look at his speeches, and Charlie was an absolute supporter of Israel. And then he would say, and they would ask him why. And then so, we're in those things, and we're listening, but at the same time you're looking, but you hear these things and you hear them over. And I can remember him saying, he was a supporter of it, because a nation should be able to defend itself after they've been attacked. And so that's why we use that, as opposed to just, sharing it back and forth or doing it on a Whippet pad. So we have that in real time. And so that starts then.
What kind of, I mean, at the beginning, when I was kind of looking into this before I realized I'm never going to find any answers, we've seen a lot of Charlie's friends, people that are in the media, come out and say Charlie had very specific concerns about Israel.
Here we go again.
His opinions were changing about Israel, and that he had expressed concerns about this to various media personalities. My question is the man that owns the company that's in charge of his security detail, and you are the head guy on his security detail, were there any concerns about that or any other organization, political party, foreign nation? Did he express any of those concerns to you?
Good question.
No. and Dan works for Turning Point as their security guy. And so Dan feeds down that to us, to our contracted security, which is us, for integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing had ever come now from Dan, from Charlie down to us about that. Now, at the same time, you got to look at the world we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a reality. It's a reality that an organization, whether it be a hate group of any type, could want to hurt anybody, not necessarily Israel, but we look at mathematics too, and there's probabilities and possibilities, right? And I look at the probabilities. The possibilities are infinite. And the probabilities are that it's not. The probabilities are the people that want to hurt him are the people that are there screaming things at him in front of us half the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to look at those probabilities in the mathematics. We look at the possibilities too. And those possibilities, I'm sure, are out there, but we've never got any detail or intel to show that yet we should look into this deeper.
I mean, it is very interesting that if he was that concerned about born nations or opposite political affiliations, I mean, if he was that concerned, I don't know why that wouldn't have been disseminated down to the security detail. I mean, I have a security detail, and if I feel that there is a threat, even if it's just a feeling, that's the first people that I tell is my security detail.
We looked at, we look at all that, and you can go back and look at his speeches, and Charlie was an absolute supporter of Israel. And then he would say, and they would ask him why. And then so, we're in those things and we're listening, but at the same time you're looking, but you hear these things and you hear them over. And I can remember him saying, he was a supporter of it because one, a nation should be able to defend itself after they've been attacked. Two, Charlie was a devout Christian to the point that he gave his life for it. And he referenced this, and I heard him reference it, where those places that are our holy land are being taken away from us and not being able to visit, and that you can't go there. And so that protection of Israel was important to him.
Now I just want to stop it very quickly. So here we have Shawn Ryan, the interviewer, is making a point to ask this gentleman, the head of the security, Brian Harpole, about whether or not Charlie Kirk mentioned that he felt at risk or in danger or any type of threat from Israel. And he's saying no. And again, this is sort of, when you look at the entirety of his life, he had one small time where he sort of said, and it wasn't even saying that he felt threatened by this nation, but he just said he felt like, if he had any critique of them, they were uber upset about that. And he did not like that because he was a supporter of Israel, but he has critique, which I do as well, So, but the thing that kind of is weird to me is how the media is trying to make one small critique he had, one mention out of 100 of things saying he supports. The one small issue he had, they're making it seem like it's much larger than it is. And here we can see he never even mentioned anything about it to his security. I hope Shawn Ryan asked him, did he have any issues that he mentioned of anyone outside of Israel? Were there any people, places, or things that he felt like his security team should have put additional interest in or check out, a little bit more outside of Israel? I'm curious to that.
And those holy sites, and he'd been there. And so he had talked about being there and how it changed his life. And so that's why those sites in that area was important for him to protect. Now, how you can derive Israeli hitmen out of that, I have no idea. But we have never received anything from the FBI, which they were pretty good about sharing information, Secret Service, because of the Charlie Circle. And we had never received anything from anybody that was credible, that was saying that groups of that entity was a threat to him. We received other threats all the time.
See?
Okay. They come in all the time. And so you got to look at them. Are they First Amendment or are they actual threats? And so, First Amendment threats would come in, and these people have disgusting. They're like, Charlie, I can't wait till you come to I was somewhere on the West Coast. I can't remember what town it was, but I can't wait till you come to this town so that I hope somebody shoots you in the head and we can pee in the hole.
What?
Yeah. It's like, where do you get this kind of stuff,
Man?
And so what are you benefiting from it, right? And so, am I gonna spend an exorbitant amount of time with a possibility that I don't have any tangible intel on and I haven't received any, or am I gonna put my eggs into this basket that is a probability right here? And so it's probable these people are doing it with bomb threats, routinely, physical, threats to person. And so you got to look at all these things and work those angles. And, Dan did that meticulously and he shared that information with us. And so, if that came in, we got it, and we never got anything that no Mossad or nothing. That was never, not once.
Did anybody, I've interviewed a lot of war fighters. I'm a war fighter. A lot of times somebody on the team will have some type of a feeling or a premonition or, hey, we shouldn't be here right now, or something's about to happen. I don't have a good feeling about this. Did anybody you're on your team or Charlie, anybody express any concerns about that day?
On that day, for us personally, when you walk in and we talk about workup, right? So we start the back workup, and then we're a little different also as far as our guys don't just get to show up. The team goes out and we physically build all of our prevention model. So they don't show up and just see it. They physically build it, and we walk through it each other and we make sure things are done right. And so our guys are pulling bike racks and putting them together, and they're putting tape up, and they're looking at places all around the bubble that our area of responsibility is. And so, they're looking around thinking, God, this is horrible. It's a beautiful amphitheater there at UVU, but, you're a tactician. If you're somewhere and you're covered from an elevated position from 180 degrees, it's horrible. And that's where we were, but that's come out. It's like, why would they have it there? This is ignorance. It's a security fail. And I'm like, well, one, that's where they told us we had to have it. We weren't optioned out anywhere else. There's a permit you have to get, and the school says, nope, this is where you have to have it. We don't get to argue with them. We don't get to say, no, but that's it. This is where you have to do it. And then secondarily, Charlie liked it. It wasn't ticketing. You didn't have gates. Regular people showed up, and we had spoke to him about it before. And it's like, man, this is getting dangerous, and his response was, I know. And so it's like, but if you ticket it and you make people jump through hoops to come in or pay or go through magnetometers, and then the people with opposing views don't show up, and then there's no conversation. We upped it based on nothing, because it's like, all right, that we're in a kind of a place where we don't want to be. We're expecting a big crowd. It's the first one. We don't want to get behind the 8 ball. In security industry, it's a prevention industry, not a response industry. It is a response industry, but it should be a prevention industry. So we're there in the prevention model. And so you can see, if you pull the schematic up, the placement I put for our guys. And on that day, thank goodness we had them, because where the tent was that Charlie was under, there's a giant walkway above him. And when we were doing the walk that morning, one of the things that didn't come out in our advance was there was giant rocks that they use for architectural design all around there. And so we're seeing these rocks on the ground, and it's like, oh, people can come by and pick up these rocks and then throw them down on us and throw them down on Charlie. And so we did a temporary criminal trespass zone right above him on that bridge walkway, so that people couldn't come in it and throw rocks down on him. And so, but the problem is that we had to get PD units in here to take that area of responsibility. And we told them, hey, just like out there, we need you here to have oversight coverage because one, it's a tape line. It's not a hard, wall.
We're getting ready to cover timeline and security during the event actions on. And so could you walk me through the security setup for the event?
Sure.
Who was placed where, what you guys were seeing?
Yeah. So we come in and we look at setup in the mornings. And like I said earlier.
Now, this guy seems like, I mean, again, I'm generally a good read of people. This guy seems like a straight shooter. He seems pretty on the up and up. I mean, he seems like a regular security guy to me. He seems like he's going through everything and he's pretty open with his responses. Shawn Ryan is asking great questions. He's already asked several questions that I wanted to know or I wanted to have addressed. So again, generally speaking, when in these situations, if somebody's telling the truth, generally the explanation is very simple. It's not where, we had to do this, and this, and they're trying to create something that didn't really happen. Generally, the truth is simple. It is really simple. And he seems like, I mean, for lack of a better word, simple man. I mean, he seems like he really cared for Charlie Kirk. All right. Let's continue.
The guys are all part of it. So there's intimate knowledge. Every guy has intimate knowledge of the setup. So we come in, we do the placement of where Charlie's going to speak from.
So looking at hindsight here through the security footage, I mean, it came out that, the shooter went unnoticed at 11:50 a.m. in the grassy area, 12:02 p.m. near the Loose Center, and then at 12:23 p.m. when the shot was fired approximately 142 yards away. What was, what was your immediate response?
I'll address the shooter in the timeline first. It's like, you know what I want to know? I want to know when he got on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're shooters. Where it's easy because we have a range and our guys do it as a sense of pride. Even though we know we work on all this other stuff more, the shooting we work on because it's a sense of pride. And then, so you look at things like that in that shooting position, 3 meters to the right and 10 meters to the left, there was no shot. And so I want to know when that guy got on the roof.
Let's put the visual of what that looks like on the screen right now.
We took that shot before.
Really?
We always do. We sit down in the space and we take the shot and send it back to Charlie so that he can see what he's going to see. Yeah. And that's a routine thing that we do.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. It's mental preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here's a visual of what you guys
correct
were able to see.
Yep. And so here's my question, and hopefully it'll come out in timeline. All right. We've all seen the pictures of the guy when he came on through the staircase.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, there's a difference between a guy walking up and getting on a roof and a guy walking up and getting on a roof. And did he run over to a known position? What you're doing there tactically is you're working a loophole. You guys did that on a roof. You bang a hole through one side, and then you step back and you put another hole and you shoot through that hole when that opportunity comes through. Like, this is a big loophole. And so you tell me you just ran up onto a roof, pop yourself down in a position that was in a loophole.
Can you describe that loophole again real quick, just now that we have the visual up so people can see it?
You get up on this Sorensen Center. I mean, not Sorensen, Lucy Center that's behind the Sorensen Center. And so from where we're standing, we can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's not our area of responsibility. So that's why we're not looking there. First one, we're looking at threats right in front of us. You see, how many threats do you have in front of you right here?
About
3,000.
3,000.
Right. And so that's what we're looking at. And then it's kind of like you could be in front of an 18,000 foot mountain and there's a 36,000 foot mountain behind it. You're not going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to be cognizant of that. And then if he would have stopped just a little bit to the right, he wouldn't have been able to see it because the source and center would have been in the way.
I mean, it's a very specific point.
Spot.
It's not just, which is what I thought. I thought it was just climb on the roof and you've got the vantage point.
So you're
very
telling me
much
there's
like
enough blind
Butler,
ass
PA.
luck that you ran up there, didn't crawl, you didn't get up. He didn't get up there like the secondary guy that tried to shoot Trump, where he was bugged down in the weeds for a while. This was a boom on, boom run to, boom take the shot, and it's like, did you get all that off?
I mean, it had to have been rehearsed to find that, which I believe you said is basically did you say 7 foot vantage point basically head?
Oh, I'd have to.
It's small. Whatever.
It's
It's
small.
small.
Not big.
There's the visual. Who gives a fuck? It's a small area.
It's not something. And then
You would have to search for that.
Mhm.
You would have to search for that vantage point if you didn't know. So it would be great to see the footage. Maybe it's out there of him running straight to the point, or did he search around looking
exactly
for
what
it?
I want to know. Do we have?
It'd be great if that chief of police would have put that fucking drone up.
We'd have had it,
Mm.
or I'd have flown that drone up his ass if we could have had one. So those are questions I have. Those are tactical questions. I mean, we make our guys do that kind of stuff all the time. Yep, no, you're going to run 300 yards. You're going to jump over this wall. You're going to come home and you're going to take this shot with ours is about a 35-foot declination at 200 yards. And you see guys that are even trained miff it every once in a while. And people are like, oh, that's an easy whip at 142. I'm like, yeah, the shot itself, but you're talking about old men that shoot stuff off sandbags. You and I both know under duress, accurate shots are different.
So it sounds like there was some type of breakdown with the local police. And this is not surprising because this was also the story behind the lack of security or how that shot got off against President Trump. So it appears that when these people go into these areas, whether it's political figures, celebrities, they have their personal security, and then of course there is the local police force. So the personal security company has to connect with and figure out things with the local police force. And so many times you're at the you're at the weakness or strength of the local police force. So it appears that the local police force may have somehow dropped the ball in some way with the drones or with the surrounding areas. We don't know. This will also come out during the trial, I assume. But he's given some really good information here. He is giving some very good information. So we're not going to watch too much more. I think he's kind of gone through the gist of this. Let's talk about, he goes through some debunking things. So let's do that.
All like there was a guy that said, that the mic blew up. And it's all like bullet in the travel. Oh, there should have been a pulse. But
hold on. How long had it been since the shot to the hospital?
I have no idea. But you can.
That is a jugular shot.
You can be dead. A central nervous system. You got a strong heart, right? And that's what the OR doc told me.
Okay.
He said that's what it was. And so,
holy shit.
Yeah. And so I have no way of. I'm not a doctor. I just know what he told me, and so we go to that and I'm sorry, what was your question again?
We were talking about the autopsy.
Oh, the autopsy. And so once they came down and said he didn't make it. And And he talked about, he said, if he'd have been shot in the OR, I wouldn't have been able to save him.
Mm.
And I was like, I mean, he's just kind of confirming things that I already knew. And so, and so I don't know how long, well, I don't know what the timeline was, but I want to say, I can't remember who it was, but I knew, I was like, we're not going to turn this into some JFK. I specifically asked one of the doctors, I don't know, I remember what she looked like, dark skin, like dark hair, probably 35, 40 years old. I said, how long until we can get an autopsy?
Mm.
And I remember her saying a day and a half. And I was like, oh. And so, I mean, she's the boss of that. That's just information. And so I remember, I was like, man, that's a long time. We need to get this autopsy done and done right so that there's not some conspiracy. So, I mean, you're starting to think forward to that. And so I remember I was standing next to the chief of staff and the vice president called. And the vice president asked him, what do you need? And then he looked at me and said, what do we need? And I said, we need an autopsy now. So for these people that are saying there wasn't one done, go away.
Yep.
It was done.
He's debunking it all, folks.
Do it for you. Yeah. Get the report when it comes out. It was done. Mm-hmm. It was done. Yeah. In the OR doc released statements regarding, and there has been statements regarding the bullet and the travel. Oh, there should have been a blowout, and it's like there wasn't an exit wound. There wasn't one. I was checking for that in the ride. Yeah, and so people are like, yeah, it's completely impossible. And I was like, man, I've seen bullets do weirder things on people. And so all I know is what I saw. Mm-hmm. There wasn't an exit wound. And so I know there was an autopsy done. One, because we requested it. They were there. And the second one was the local SO, and I believe it was the state police. They did the body transfer that night through.
And let me tell you, this man was there. You hear him? He's giving first-hand account, okay? Candace Owens hasn't spoken to this man. She is making all kinds of allegations. She has no first-hand account. She has not seen any of the reports. She hasn't seen the autopsy. And she's just spewing out these lies. This man was there. And he's saying these things are not true.
The either Emmy's office or funeral home to the Emmy that night and took them there. So yeah, for them to say that somebody broke the rules or Turning Point didn't follow the rules, that's lies.
Here it is.
It's conjecture and it's lies. It's all that's people. It's when people look at themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, it happened.
There it is.
Do you think that the entry wound looked like an exit wound?
No, it was an entry wound.
Why do you say that?
So one, there wasn't an exit wound because I remember rolling his head over and cleaning it so I could see if there was an exit.
This man was there. You hear him? Do you hear him? He's telling you what he did.
And then I was having to open the wound up some to get more and pack it. If you've ever done an exit wound, it's not that hard.
Rewind that.
It's a lot bigger. Mm-hmm. For things on people. And so all I know is what I saw. Mm-hmm. There wasn't an exit wound. And so I know there was an autopsy done. One, because we requested it. They were there. And the second one was the local SO, and I believe it was the state police. they did the body transfer that night through the either Emmy's office or funeral home to the Emmy that night and took them there. So, yeah, for them to say that somebody broke the rules or Turning Point didn't follow the rules, that's lies. It's conjecture and it's lies. It's all that's people is when people look at themselves. Yeah, it happened.
Do you think that the entry wound looked like an exit wound?
No, it was an entry wound.
Why do you say that?
So one, there wasn't an exit wound because I remember rolling his head over and cleaning it so I could see if there was an exit wound. And then I was having to open the wound up some to get more and pack it. If you've ever done an exit wound, it's not that hard. It's a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can feel it when you know, the rule of kind of thumb on that one is you don't want to make it bigger, but you got to keep packing it in there.
So you guys see, he had to assess the full extent of the injury. That's why he was looking for the exit wound to see if there was an exit wound. Okay. And for you guys who may not know, so basically to assess the full extent of any injury, a bullet injury, because the bullet creates two wounds generally if it goes all the way through. There's an entry wound and an exit wound. The exit wound is often larger, as he's saying, and more damaging, showing how severe the internal trauma might be. Okay, but he's saying there was no exit wound. There was only an entry wound. It's from what I'm gathering. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just going off of what he's saying. So let's see.
And so, yeah, I've heard and seen them all. Like there was a guy that said, you know, that the mic blew up and it was a bomb.
Yeah, I was going to wait. Yeah, there is a guy online that is saying that the microphone may have had some type of explosive projectile inside of it.
So it wrapped around the neck and created a hole.
That's the thing that I just couldn't wrap my head around either, is the accuracy that would have to take place from an explosion to actually get you in the neck. But then other people are saying that there was maybe that maybe the explosion killed him, and that in fact there's actually some camera footage that somebody has done some type of assessment on. But I mean, you cut his shirt off,
right?
Did you see any burn marks?
So that's
any indication of any type of explosion?
Back it up even further to that. You've been around explosives and shaped explosives and stuff like that. It's like, what do you have when you have that? They had that down to like frames, right? Where was the flash?
Mm.
If that was an explosion, where was the flash?
Mm-hmm.
You have oxygen exchange to create the explosion. Where was the flash?
Mm-hmm.
Where was the char?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you know if his equipment is assessed before it's put on?
Yeah, it's actually held up there. That company that is a subcontracting company for them, they hold that all up there because, you know, and they're around it, almost guarding it because people will steal it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's inside the non-permeable zone.
Okay.
So nobody has access to it. It's set up in there. Even the boxes are kept in there. And so it's inside that. And so it's on them. And then you can see they walk up and actually pin it on him. So that system is integritized also. Mm-hmm. And again, it's a reach. Go all the way back to where's the explosion? Mm-hmm. You got frame by frame.
When that theory came out, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily out of the question. I mean, we know about the pagers.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, the way I looked at it was he was wearing a loose fitting t-shirt mm-hmm. that had I believe the Rode mic with the magnet, mm-hmm.
Strapped onto his shirt.
On the other side. Yeah.
He's
moving around And so that, that microphone, if it was a projectile, it would have had to have been pointed at the exact same spot, which would have been impossible to do with a loose shirt.
Right.
And so, and then there would have been an entry wound. It wouldn't have gone to the other side of the neck, but and then, there was it was a trigger man, with a device to initiate the blast. But still though, to have him moving around like this and his loose shirt to have a piece of weight while he's moving around. You could not.
Probability.
It would be a coincidence for it to actually happen the way that it did.
Yeah.
It would be a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
It would not be. I don't think you could chalk that up to skill, unless the explosion is what killed him. But what you're saying, no flash, no blast,
no char,
no burn marks, no.
And that's a real time.
And folks, these two people here, Shawn, Ryan, they're both tactical people who have worked in security, who have worked in the army, military. So they know, all whether something is conspiracy and then working through it to get to the truth. Okay. These are people who have actually done this stuff, not some nutbag like Candace sitting behind a computer just pushing all types of conspiracy, which that's how she started out. This is how she's doing it now. But again, these people know all the questions and they also know the answers in most of this stuff because they've been in many of these situations. And this is why this interview is so important, because not only is this guy who is speaking, the head of security gentleman, Brian Harpole, he is being interviewed by someone who has been in similar situations as him. So he would know, Shawn Ryan would know, well, that doesn't sound right because this generally happens, or that sounds right. You're right because this generally. So he knows. Okay. This is a great interview. Excellent interview.
The shirt off, you would have seen it.
Yeah, that's a real time see too. You've seen explosions.
I've seen a lot of explosions.
And so you have those attributions. Where's the attribution to the explosion inside those frames?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to make something into nothing.
Right.
And so I'm not saying that we shouldn't look at things by all means.
Yeah,
we should. We look at people and press and in history of the United States, how valuable they've been. And I applaud these guys that are out there humping and working, the one to have the truth. But don't say you're searching for the truth when you're lying to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
wow. That right there, what he just said. Don't say you're searching for the truth when you're lying to get it. That right there is right on. Because what we have are people, particularly Candace Owens, who are normalizing conspiracy spirals that mimic cult-like behavior. This is what she's doing. She's presenting herself, one, as the only person who knows the truth, not his wife, not his mom, not his dad, not the security officer that was there. They're all liars. Candace Owens claims she's the only one that knows the truth. Folks, this is classic manipulative cult rhetoric, okay? And what she's doing is she's turning personal vendettas. She's weaponizing this to make money, and she's turning personal vendettas into public spiritual revelations when the Holy Spirit is not within her, okay? Let's continue. But what he said was spot on.
What's happening? Because you're not searching for the truth. You're searching for clicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the people posting these, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I think some people are legitimately just trying to figure it out. I think that there are other people that are very obviously making a living off of sensationalizing this.
Yeah.
But I think we live in a time where people don't, including myself, don't know where to find the truth. They don't know who to believe. They are starting not to even believe their own eyes.
Yeah, and he's right. We're going to continue because what's happening are people like Candace Owens. Their actions undermine the credibility of real truth telling. Okay, real truth tellers fight with facts, not fantasy, not dreams. Not all this crazy stuff she's been talking. Her wild accusations make the entire movement look unstable and unserious. Okay, it hands ammunition to the left. This is what the left usually does. But this is what it does, and it damages the witness of people like him and Christians, because she tries to come from a place of faith. Well, we know that's not what she's doing at all. All right.
And do you blame them?
No, I don't.
Not at all. Me neither. I mean,
I don't.
You look
we have zero faith in any of these institutions.
You think about this. There's a guy out there, and he has a company called Paramount Tactical, and his name's Gary. And Gary took an ass whipping online because he went out there and said, and he did exactly what we're talking about right now. And people whipped his ass for telling the truth because he bucked the system. He said, no, look at this. And he broke it down from a professional standpoint because he has a background in it and a probability standpoint. And I didn't talk to him, and he was like 95% right, even on the medical stuff. And it's like, but then he took an ass whipping online for it. And I sat and watched it from afar. And it's like, so people get chastised for telling the truth. And then you've got, like you said, who do you believe? I mean, our media, big poll. They polled our people in the United States. And how many of you believe the media? And said 70% of them don't believe a word that comes out of the media's mouth. And I'm like, well, let's look at this. If a baker makes bread every day and 70% of his product tastes like crap, how long is he going to be in business? And then why do we keep letting these people be in business? And then, so that's the big media. You think that's worse online? And then who's to blame? The idiot that's lying, or the big Facebooks, Instagrams, and X's that are making money off them lying? And then they're monetizing the lie too.
Yep.
It's kind of like back in the day. You had the National Enquirer that made money off lying. They sold the little cheap papers. All these guys are, and these things are our version of National Enquirer, and they're monetizing that lie.
But and I'm going to jump in here, but what makes this worse are more people are consuming this quote unquote National Enquirer. More people are consuming this crap, folks, because we all used to I remember the National Enquirer as well. I was with my mom and, at the store or whatever, and I saw the National Enquirer, and you see these salacious stories. You just look while you're at the grocery store and you just keep on going. Not anymore. She's getting millions of views. People are believing it. And then it spreads like wildfire because she not only gets these views on YouTube, but then it's TikTok, then it's X. So it catapults this into a major trend and a major vein where people, collect this information. And unfortunately, people are believing it. People are believing this stuff. And the worst thing about it all is she's exploiting the dead. She's exploiting the dead and harming the grieving. The family of Charlie Kirk deserves peace, dignity, and space, not this conspiracy bait drama. But this is what she's doing. I call her Kanda Ye, because she is morphing into Kanye West, is what she is. And folks, she's aligning with the spirit of confusion. It's not the spirit of God, because we know that God is not the author of confusion. 1 Corinthians 14:33. And what she certainly is doing is bringing about confusion, chaos, and suspicion without an ounce of proof.
And I was like, man, guys, you're losing value of how important that is. You could be the Watergate guy that breaks the truth, but you're taking that away from people. It's like, be the one that tells the truth. be the paramount tactical guy that's willing to take a whipping to tell the truth.
I think, you know, I've talked about this a lot recently, but, you know, I think you have to be willing to poke holes in your own story.
That's true.
You can poke holes in everybody else's story, and that's fine. But you also have to be willing to poke holes in your own story.
Great way to put it.
You know, you should be poking holes in your own story. If you are really a truth seeker, you should be poking holes in your own story along with everybody else's. Why do you think that they tore up and paved over the crime scene so quickly?
I have had and asked that at least 10 times. And I said, I don't understand the exigency of why they did that. And here's my question to that. March your ass up to the school. Have you marched your ass up to the school, or will you march your ass up to that school tomorrow and file a FOIA and say, hey, you're a public institution. I want the request and the plans that were made to tear that up and when those requests and plans happen. Because you're not going to request that, or you shouldn't request that overnight and have that done.
People, yes, I encourage you guys to watch the full interview. The full interview is over 2 hours long. So, and I can't do that, but I'm trying to get to some of the major points in the interview, but definitely go back and watch the full interview, please.
Had to probably go through a budget request, had to be approved. There should be a timeline and paperwork for that. You should be able to get that through FOIA. And so do it. Make them tell us why that they tore that up before it was even cold. I want to know. Because it came back on us. That we had some trap door and they're covering up the trap door and we had a guy hiding in there.
That's what Candace
Okay,
did.
that's actually my next question. I didn't hear about there was somebody hiding in the trap door.
A gun was hiding or something.
Or there was a trap door or something. Was there a trap door in a tunnel system?
No.
There was not.
No. So, school, why'd you tear it up? Why did you tear it up? What was the exigency to tear up something that still people would? Did you not think that through? Like, hey, we might want to put a hold on that. This might induce questions to us. And it didn't. Nobody went back and asked questions to the school or said, hey, well, let's do a FOIA and do some back digging on that. That's not protected under this evidentiary gag order. Now let's just blame the security team because that's the easy way. But go do the FOIA.
You know, I mean, back to the exit wound thing. You know, I mean, because we're talking about the tearing up of the crime scene and everybody's wanting them to find the bullet. I mean, if the bullet hit any bone at all, there is no bullet. It's just fragmentation.
Great point.
And
that was discussed already.
And if there was no exit wound in the autopsy, though, there should be. I mean, if there was no exit wound, then there should be fragmentation of the bullet would have fragmented into who knows how many pieces.
The doctor, and again, this is not a non-disclosure violation, but the doctor came out there and told us, and then they also told chief of staff. So the bullet came in and hit the vertebra, so it came in and then tore up everything in the wound cavity, hit the vertebra, crushed it, shattered it, turned, crushed the second one, kept going down all the way. I think they said C6.
Holy shit.
Lord Jesus. Can you imagine? This is what Charlie Kirk had to go through. And so this is why when people are trying to poke holes in this investigation, this man who did this needs to be in jail. He needs the death penalty, honestly. And so when you have people out there who are just trying to make money and get clicks and not really trying to get to the truth, they're coming through this with no type of evidence, nothing, just conspiracy. This can weaken the case. We want justice for Charlie Kirk. Did you hear what he had to go through? Oh my goodness. And for her to go out here and talking about this family, blaming all these people on TPUSA with no evidence, no real evidence, and they're having to go through this, listening to this, their loved one, a bullet went through his neck and then went down and through his vertebrae all the way. It's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. It really is.
Yeah, it's like, why not put that info out? Why not put it out? And then
Why wouldn't they put that out?
And if it do me a favor, don't make me do it. It's not my job. And so then it got to here, and you're exactly right. And then hit, I think, 6 and then fragged. And so explanation 101. What are you hiding? Yeah. It's like I'm sitting back here when people are saying we bombed him or there's that wound. I'm like, hey, if somebody would, from an official capacity, would just release that. And I don't see how that could jeopardize a fair trial for a guy.
Now, keep in mind, folks, people like him, Shawn Ryan, these people are not attorneys. They are not people in law. Now, I have worked on different sorts of cases, not these types of cases, but similar cases. Well, I would say just cases in general. And generally, there is things that laymen like us, even police officers, things that they think are not important. An attorney will know, well, wait a minute, we have to go about this a certain way because it's different when you get in a court of law. So there may be a very good explanation why the attorneys involved or law enforcement do not want to release this stuff or not, answering these questions. I don't know. But sometimes there is a very reasonable answer to this. Because let me tell you something, it's very easy to tank a case. Okay? We know this. We've seen this happen before. It's very easy to tank a case, and the defense is looking for any and everything they can use for reasonable doubt.
And or somebody called the doctor. Somebody just call him.
This guy, George Zen. Are you familiar with this guy?
Is he the one that said?
He is the performance immediately after the shooting. I believe he was saying that he had the shooter. He was also a witness to 9/11, called to the bomb threat in Salt Lake City marathon. I mean, he seems to show up at a lot of historic
incidents, right? And then gets arrested, and then later gets arrested for child porn after that. And so that was a weird deal because that came to us at the hospital. Hey, they have somebody in custody, and I'm like, awesome. And then our guys helped hold that perimeter area while they were arresting him. And I want to say they held on to some gear or something. I'd have to double check with them, but they were there assisting the police for that because they're still in there in holding the crime scene. Yeah. And so how did this guy get there? And they did the search warrant on his house and they released it. It's like, hey, dump his phone and release that too. Dump the tower information and release that too. I want to see who he was talking to 2, 3, 4, 5 days beforehand. I want to see what towers hit. Yeah. I want to see that. Yeah. I want to know, who is this guy? Why is he around
all these things? What questions do you have?
You
had some good questions about Robinson.
Yeah. I want to know. I want to know who this kid is. I don't want to know that he was there's something that feeds a narrative of hate and division, that he was his boyfriend was trans or whatever, and that they had text back and forth. I want to know, it's like, all right, where did he work? And then who were his coworkers, and did they interview his coworkers? And then I want to see his phone logs and the towers that it hit. I want to interview his friends, and did he have any help?
Mm-hmm.
They said, oh, well, we have DNA on the rifle. And I want all that information. That's a good tie right now. From a judicial standpoint, I can understand why they're saying, we don't want to put all this information out because the judge said it may taint a potential jury because they're going to seek the death penalty.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, from a book.
See, this is, I literally just said that, didn't I? I said something to the judicial system is, all types of twists and turns with that. Okay. So there's always a reason why they are doing this. And if something that was, within the investigation, the police investigation can mess it up when they get to court. So they got to make sure they disclose what they can disclose and keep, separate what they can keep separate. So that's what I said. That is what I said.
Standpoint, I understand that. But you got a lot of people out there wondering, hey, did this guy do it by himself? And then you throw my wonder on there. It's like, wow, so he just, the rooftop was clear, and then he jumped up on it, acquired a shooting position, took the shot. That shooting position was a loophole. If it had been 5 meters this way or what, this way wouldn't happen. And then can we go through his phone or his computer and find a Google Earth overhead that he was looking at it days, weeks, months before? Did he access that before? Because obviously it's a problem, because that's how we came upon the information, that it's easily accessed, and how we gave it to the chief to say, hey, chief, you got this, right? I got you covered. So that's information we need to know. I want to know about this kid. I want to know if somebody helped him. Mm-hmm. Is he a patsy? Is he, was there a group of people?
What's a patsy?
Is he taking the blame for other people? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or is he part, is he a lone wolf? But then we all thought Timothy McVeigh was a lone wolf too, right? Mm-hmm. And then we come to find out, people knew about it. He had assistance. Even if it was assistance of, we knew you were going to do something and then we didn't say something. So.
All right, folks. So this was a great interview. It really was. I mean, it sort of, it saddened me even more just hearing all of the details behind, the shooting and how the bullet went through Charlie and how he was trying to plug the hole, and it was just, oh my goodness. It was it's sad. It really is. It's sad, folks. And we have to continue to keep his loved ones, his family, his friends lifted up in prayer. Again, as we've mentioned on this show before, we pray that just God blesses everyone with discernment. Open our eyes, help us to get to the bottom of this, to the truth, and that God's justice is served. That's my prayer on all of this, that God's justice is served. Please, folks, as you guys are here, hit that like button. It really helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience. And subscribe. We will be back. We'll be back here on Thursday. Michelle and I will be back on Thursday to kind of just break down all of this a little bit more. I'm told that now Candace Owens is coming after Christians. We called this, folks. We called this. She was coming after Protestants, initially, and then and now she's coming back against evangelicals. So, she's got some type of issue with the faith portion of TPUSA. Who in the world would have an issue with that? It's crazy. But we will continue to follow this story and much more. Again, check us out on Thursday night at 9 p.m. We are here, right here at Christian Conservative, folks. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was a quick pop-up, turned into an hour and a half. But as I always say, we expose the lies, defend our values, and fight for the truth in a world that desperately needs it. Folks, truth is still out there. Don't give up on it. Truth is still out there. Pray God guides us to it. And that we continue to push and stand up for truth. Again, subscribe to stay informed, inspired, and empowered. Thank you all so much for watching, hanging in there with me tonight. I'll see you on Thursday. Good night.